Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh man, you poor leftist saps. I swear everything that they have been doing recently just reeks of desperation. The attacks, the phony narratives, the twisting of facts, everything is just a desperate last-ditch effort to try to somehow stop the leftist ship from sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And this most recent situation with Joe Rogan that the left has been hailing as some sort of major cultural victory against Donald Trump is yet again just so desperate and filled with so many disingenuous Democrat lies. It just has me sitting back and grinning. They really just want a win so bad. I don't exactly blame them. They've had nothing over the last year and 6 months, but L after 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 L. Oh, I gotta catch my breath. After L after L after L. You guys get the point. And so they're seemingly so desperate for just one win, one single win, doesn't even have to be in the political realm, just a cultural win, that they're willing to celebrate Joe Rogan as a thought hero after years of telling us that Joe Rogan is an existential threat to humanity and the most racist person on the planet. And the dumbest part of it all is they're celebrating Joe Rogan for something he didn't even really say. We gotta get into this stuff. It's exactly what we love on this channel. It reeks of Democrat desperation, and it's filled with disingenuous Democrat takes and Democrat lies and media lies. So we're gonna clear all the confusion in this video. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so if you guys are tuned in to the Liberal Hive Mind, and not my channel, I mean the literal Liberal Hive Mind, then you might have noticed that leftoids have been celebrating Joe Rogan. What backwards reality are we living in, where lefties who have been on a multi-year campaign to cancel Joe Rogan are all of a sudden claiming that he's a hero? The very far-left publication Salon.com writes, Joe Rogan turned down Donald Trump as a podcast guest, calling him a, quote, threat to democracy.
Oh my God! Wow!
Well, this right here, folks, is an orgasmic headline if you're a leftoid. Finally, Joe Rogan has realized that Donald Trump is literally Hitler. Well, not exactly. See, here's the thing. Lefties see a narrative, they see a headline, and if it fits their worldview, they accept it, no questions asked. Where normal people do a little bit of research. I know, crazy concept, right? Joe Rogan appeared on the Lex Fridman podcast, which is a massive network on YouTube, and I believe on probably some other podcasting platforms that I'm not exactly aware of. I'm not really that into podcasts personally, but Joe Rogan explained that Donald Trump had requested many times to come on his show, and he's rejected that opportunity. He claimed that he didn't want to help Donald Trump.
I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help him. I'm not interested in helping him.
Which is totally fine. If anything, that signals that Joe Rogan didn't really want to campaign for someone. He didn't want to take a stance in the 2020 or 2016 election, and so he didn't want to get involved politically. He also elaborated a little bit later.
But also, I'm not well-versed enough politically to know all of the corruption that's been alleged and to understand what the whole Russiagate stuff, what's real, like how much of it's clear that there is more than one organization that's involved in communicating with Russia before the 2016 election. So it's pretty clear that the Clinton administration was involved. It's pretty clear that the Trump administration had some communication with some people in Russia. It's pretty clear that Hunter Biden had some very suspicious dealings in Ukraine. And there's a lot going on there, man. And it's hard for anybody to parse. It's really hard for anybody, and especially to have an objective assessment of exactly what's going on.
Joe Rogan also says that he's not very informed politically, at least informed enough to really be doing political discussions and political interviews, and so he doesn't think that it's the right space for him. Once again, not exactly the massive cultural win that leftoids on Twitter are claiming. It's actually perfectly reasonable. Joe Rogan is entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to do whatever he wants and make his own decisions. He's not slamming Donald Trump as somebody that he views as a despicable human being, so he would never have him on his show. It's something entirely different. But then a lefty Salon.com reader might say, well, Joe Rogan called him a threat to democracy. Well, again, not exactly. Mrs. Allison Stein from Salon.com is what we call in the business a frickin' liar. Here's what Joe Rogan actually said.
It's already a weird time, post-Trump. Like the Trump era is also going to be one of the weirder times when people look back historically about the division in this country. He's such a polarizing figure that so many people felt like they could abandon their own ethics and morals and principles just to attack him and anybody who supports him, because he is an existential threat to democracy itself.
He's actually making the point that lefties have become so deranged in their thinking that they justify their insane behavior and partisan attacks that they believe are all justified because of their belief that Donald Trump is somehow a threat to democracy. You see how dishonest these left-wing journalists are, these journalists? There is literally no news here. Is it news that Joe Rogan isn't the biggest fan of Donald Trump? No, he's been pretty honest about that throughout his career. There's no new revelation or massive anti-Trump story from this interaction between Joe Rogan and Lex Fridman, but the desperate left tries to craft one anyways. Well, actually, let me correct myself. There is a story, except it's not the one that the left-wingers want to tell. If we're talking about this Joe Rogan Lex Fridman podcast, the story isn't what Joe Rogan said about Donald Trump, but rather what Joe Rogan said about Joe Biden.
He's going to run again.
You think he wins?
Well, he's running against a dead man. You know, I mean, Biden shakes hands with people that aren't even there when he gets off stage.
Yeah.
I think he's seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
Did you see him on Jimmy Kimmel the other day?
No.
Well, he was just rambling.
Joe Rogan essentially called Joe Biden a dead man and even alluded to a Donald Trump 2024 victory. I mean, that's the conclusion of what Joe Rogan said. He didn't really say anything new or damning about Donald Trump, but the lefties, like a bunch of koi fish in a pond, all come feeding at the surface of the water when dishonest left-wing journalists drop all of the tendies during Trump derangement feeding time. That's really what this is. Like I said earlier, and probably the second portion of this video, left-wingers will believe anything without question on face value. They won't even research it because frankly they don't want to know the truth. They'll just believe the narrative and they'll push the narrative as long as it fits their worldview. Oh, Joe Rogan said evil orange glorf man bad. All the Twitter lefties start gathering around, clapping their fins like a bunch of excited seals. Here's another bogus narrative that lefties are buying. Once again, without question, John Cooper, one of the biggest clowns on Twitter, writes, Ron DeSantis signs bill requiring Florida students and professors to register their political views with the state. I covered this in a video that I also recorded today, so I won't go too much into detail. But as I'm speaking here, I'm actually going to edit in all of the responses. And man, lefties, just no question, they just buy this stuff. This is a debunked story. It's actually a story from 2021, and it was debunked in 2021. It's somehow resurfaced, and they're all falling for it, including Twitter checkmarks with 1 million viewers, like John Cooper. Even mainstream journalists are ridiculing John Cooper. Jay O'Brien from ABC News writes, this viral post is inaccurate. Further, it references a law passed in 2021 and makes a claim that was debunked that same year. Even the article it links was written in 2021. Look before you retweet. They just buy the narrative. And here's the next one that I want to show you guys. This one's probably a more relevant example because it's actually involving this whole Joe Rogan, Donald Trump thing that the left is celebrating. This individual on Twitter named Gabe Sanchez writes, Trump doesn't seem happy with Joe Rogan right now, releasing a doctored false statement from Truth Social. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States, hearing that lion Joe Rogan doesn't want me on his podcast. He said he was asked more than once to have me on. Lies. He asked me many times, but I said no. He would be lucky to have America's greatest president as a guest. It would be record-setting and a smart business move for Spotify. Lion Joe would rather have second-rate president like gutless Ron DeSantis on his low-rated show. Now, first of all, you just turn your eyes a little bit and you see Gabe Sanchez's Twitter bio, actor, comedian, satirist, and instantly you put two and two together that this is a fake tweet meant to be left-wing comedy and satire. The entire comment section is nothing but people who are taking this as a real Donald Trump post. It is so clearly fake, but they want to believe it. They have this caricature in their mind of who Donald Trump is, and so they'll believe anything. But how utterly dishonest from Gabe Sanchez to release something like this without stating that it's satire, putting straight up fake news in front of hundreds of thousands of people. But then you look once again at his Twitter bio and you see Midas Network, and well, I guess it's par for the course. But the point being, in the end, left-wingers peddle in fake news, lies, slander. They seem to operate in their own alternate universe, their alternate little reality, willing to believe anything or accept anything as fact as long as it makes them feel good. You know, the NPC meme exists for a reason. Mindless drones who accept the mainstream media narrative as fact and don't even question or research it. Where would Democrats be without them? Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.